Hey everyone, this is OotiniCast, episode 428. It is December the 7th, 2021. Oh, there's the background noise, which means, the stream is actually on. Good. We'll be tweeting this out, and this is the raw version of the show, filled with any bugs and flubs and whatever, and then we clean up the audio, put it out as a podcast tomorrow. So we are currently live at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. We'll also put the raw version, the video raw version, up on YouTube. That is our normal way of doing it. I think I've missed one or two, but usually there's a reason. Anyway, let me go ahead and get this tweeted out, and we should be able to get going momentarily. The big news, of course, is the big delay to
Wait, what?
Legacy of the Sith. Yeah, Kitty has a story about that in a minute. Let's see. Here's the tweet. 428. 428. Wow. And thank goodness for the announcement coming out like today and not like tomorrow, because that would suck.
I know, right?
This is our last episode before the quote unquote drop of Legacy of the Sith, and then the next one was supposed to be a week after the drop, which would be a good time to let us sort of experience the story, get a feel for the changes, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and if if this was just an episode like, yay, 1 week till the expansion, and then the news came out tomorrow, then it would not work as well. Plus, there's not really any other news. There's like hardly anything else.
I got another funny thing to bring up too.
Okay.
That's that
Long
adds insult to injury.
Okay. That's
about
fine.
The drop in date. But anyway.
Boom. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. All right, it's tweeted out, and I think I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go, Katie?
Yep, I'm ready to go. Let me retweet your tweet.
All righty.
Retweeting the tweetiness. All right.
Okay, get that going.
Ready when you are.
All right, going in 5.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I'm sure anyone who sees this is going to know exactly what most of it's going to be about. Which is actually fine, because and maybe it should have been a clue, but there really wasn't a lot of other news. No. Like a surprising, now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, this has been a really low amount of news for literally weeks, a week or two before the drop of an expansion. So yeah,
I'm glad that they're just crazy.
I'm glad they actually came out with the actual announcement and some follow-up, which I can also talk about. We can discuss as well. So we actually know more than just the delay. We also now know some of the details that are going to be involved with it. So that'll be good.
Great. I didn't read it.
Clearly, yes. We found out something right before the show, and I wish it had been on camera, but we'll talk about it in a sec. We'll talk about it more in a sec. Let's get going with the actual show.
Okay.
All right. All right, I gotta get the laughter out of my voice before I do this, and then we'll go. Going in 5. Let me have a little water too. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that intends to rule with respect. This is episode 428, being recorded on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty, how you doing?
Hi, Chill. I've had better days. Thank you.
Yes, just the two of us today. It is, it was supposed to be 1 week before the drop of Legacy of the Sith, but we just got the announcement that it has been delayed. And tell me a little bit about how you received this news.
Okay, so first of all, I was just kind of looking around online when I got home from work, and I saw that the drop date is going to be the 15th, and I thought that was just one day. So I'm like, oh,
okay, you saw the day, and then your brain skipped over everything else.
Yeah, my brain.
The fact that the year was different, the fact that the month was different.
I just got home from work, and I was on Working Class Nerds last week.
Nice.
And
in fact, we're hoping to have Marcus on the next show. So
yeah, that's going to be even better.
That'll be fun.
He's going to give me crap about it, which is fine. But I made a bet with Marcus that he said that the drop date for Legacy of the Sith
wouldn't be the 14th.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the 14th. And I was like, oh, it's going to be the 14th. I'll bet you. And he's like, and I don't like to bet money. I like to bet push-ups.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll bet you 25 push-ups live on the stream.
That's awesome.
That it does come out indeed on the day. And I owe Marcus 25 push-ups live on stream, which is going to be fun. Another fun fact.
Okay.
Both Kitty and myself
took
Kitty
time
off work. Yeah. Kitty Treats and myself took time off work. So now we're going to...
Oh, no, that's right. I'm sure other people have, too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, other people have. Especially since this is only a week before. Like, this is really tight. To be making the change announcement. I'm the same
person that said, the hypocrite that said several weeks ago, like, oh, you know what? Never take time off work for a drop on an X-Pac, blah, blah, blah. But both Kitty Treats and myself were so excited. We're like, oh, we're going to take the day off, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, we'll get another day of gaming together. So
yeah, that's absolutely true. It's lucky you did. It's lucky you did a flat bet, because imagine if it'd been like you're going to do 10 push-ups per day that it gets delayed.
I would have been screwed.
You had to do like 620 push-ups.
I'm not even sure if I can do 25 push-ups, which which makes it funnier.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny. Really, but so I don't know if I'm going to do those tomorrow when I stream or wait for later. But
right,
and whatever.
You learn the change was not 1 day but 2 months right before the show, and I only wish that I hadn't mentioned it, and that you'd actually learn during the show, because your face was amazing when you.
Yeah. So when we.
You literally learned 10 minutes ago, right before we started.
Yeah, before we started the show, Chill, I'm like, oh man, I owe Marcus push-ups, and he's like, oh yeah, you owe Marcus push-ups. And again, I thought it was a day, and Chill dropped the bomb on me, and I was like,
because he knew about the change, so I didn't think he didn't know the exact day, but there you go.
Oh crap,
that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh well, what are you gonna do?
That's
Welcome to my life.
Obviously, we have more to say about that. There's more. There's actually more information about that later in the show during the news segment. But let us know what else has been going on in the last. Slightly more than 2 weeks. What we basically did is the 10-year anniversary was on a Friday, which is like a couple days before the next Tuesday, which would have been our normal Tuesday. So we basically just treated it as though the anniversary show had been on that day, and we just went 2 weeks out from that. So it's been like 2 weeks and like 3 days since our last show. So what you been up to?
Well, Kitty Treats and myself did a stream on Thanksgiving Day.
Nice.
A 12-hour stream on Thanksgiving Day, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I would like to say thank you, Chill, for all of the great gift codes.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Yeah.
It was very appreciated, and a lot of people were very, very happy with that. So thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a co-host of the OotiniCast, so we just used some of the OotiniCast ones. That's all that was.
Yay! Yeah, it was great. And what was funny is that I don't know, I think we were probably like maybe 9 hours into the 12-hour stream, and and Kitty's like, "Are you tired?" Like, I'm not tired at all. We could go longer than 12 hours. And then by the time 12 hours hit, my voice was trashed. I could barely talk anymore. So,
That's
but
funny.
We did make it even a little bit more. Like, I think we did 12 and a half hours, but blah, blah, blah. But it was great. It was super fun. Thank you, everybody that came by. And again, Chill, kudos for the gift codes. That was awesome.
Great. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we also gave out a bunch of codes at the OotiniCast anniversary show last time. I tried to give a show to at least some sort of code to everyone who showed up on the list of people in the Twitch chat. So so a lot of people got codes. Maybe some people haven't even noticed that they got a whisper on Twitch yet. But if you were on the anniversary show and you might want to check on that. But
check it.
But yeah, a lot of people said nice things, and we're glad to get the various kinds of codes and so on. Most of them were like 450cc codes. There's a few 30-day subs and stuff like that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that stuff is awesome.
Yeah, and it's fun to do. And it's something we should probably do more of, and we just need to kind of figure out ways to do it.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so did the 12-hour stream, and then continued streaming, and then did the working class nerds, and my voice was gone. Like, I almost lost my voice.
Oh, because this was like the next day or whatever?
I just kept going, kept streaming, kept talking.
Oh, I see. So you were like re-aggravating it a little bit. Yeah.
And
okay.
I think my my little piggy way too. I think I swallowed something a little too big, and it messed up my throat. So
oh no!
I had like an earache and blah blah blah. So I took the last 2 days off from streaming, and I'm back, baby. I'm ready to go. It scared me though a little bit. I was like, but whatever. Right. We're good to go. What else? I've been working on my YouTube channel, which is
nice. Yeah,
really great.
I've noticed that there's a little bit stuff coming out on it that because I actually subscribed sometime in the last couple of weeks. I think you mentioned something about your YouTube channel, so I went ahead and it's like, oh yeah, I haven't subscribed to that yet, and I did. So that was good.
Another thing that happened during our 12-hour stream is that Kitty Treats went and talked to a bunch of people about, saying nice things about me, and made a video of it and tried to make me cry on stream. I did get a little teary, but I didn't cry. But it was very sweet, very nice. It was great. It was really, 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 really sweet. What else happened? The word YouTube channel. So that video is going to be posted on the YouTube channel. But Kitty Treats is a graphic designer, not by trade, but she is really good at it.
Cool.
And so she's been egging me to get the code to get in, admin to my YouTube, and she went in and just cleaned it up, made everything nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Which is great because my lazy butt wouldn't. I was not going to do it. So yay.
And it takes a long time if you haven't done it before, or if you're not good at it, Yeah.
Right. And I tend to rage quit sometimes when it's stuff like that. I'm like
halfway done.
Just not.
It's like, why do you have no background all of a sudden?
I know, right?
Well, I had a background.
It was better because, and another thing I did is I was going to change from slobs to OBS Studios. But and I started doing that, but then oh my god, it was way more of an overhaul than I thought it was going to be. So then, and just kind of forgot about normal streaming on slobs, so went back to slobs and everything's all messed up.
Oh no.
But slowly getting it back and all that, but whatever. It's fine. And I got my flu shot yesterday.
Nice.
And I wasn't aware that you can get a flu shot at like Safeway.
Yeah.
Just go online and make an appointment, go there, and done, in and out.
Right.
Relatively quick.
Yeah, a lot of the Walgreens and Safeway pharmacies and stuff like that, you can do that sort of thing.
It was great. Got the flu shot, so hopefully I don't get sick this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right.
And that's about it for me.
Excellent. And it looks like there's something in the notes about something you're going to do on Christmas for streaming.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Kitty Treats and myself are going to be doing a dual stream on Christmas Day all day.
Wow. So like another 12.5 hour-ish stream, however long that ends up being.
It's going to go as long as it goes.
Right.
But it's going to be fun.
Many hours. That sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I've been streaming on Christmas ever since I've been streaming because I don't have anywhere to go. I love streaming. Exactly. I love it. And my friend, my buddy, and I used to, we would declare that game day. We would go get a turkey loaf, put it in the oven, and game all day and eat turkey loaf together. So,
that sounds like, that sounds excellent.
This time I'm doing it with kitty treats. And of course, Rob will be there in Seattle. But that's about it.
All right, then. Let's see who we got here. We got 152 Domino is in the chat room. 29 Oriole, Avorian, Bo Froley, Cheryl Mercury's here. Hey, Cheryl. Dex here, Decion, Fortzer, Catsip06, Kitty Treats is here. Lord Meltza, Lone Wolf, Nana's Nonsense, Nintendo Switch XL, and Squishy Twitchy. Hey, everyone. All right. And what I've been doing is just a lot of kind of leveling type stuff and just having a ball doing it on the main server, with the guild and on Satil Shan. Finished with Loki. He's completely done, like not only with like the onslaught, but post onslaught. So he's done the the final Emperor bit. He's done the Mandalorian thing. He's done the chasing Malgus through the Flashpoint thing. And then there's a couple of conversations past that, which kind of made me realize, oh yeah, I actually need to do some of these things on like quote unquote my main characters, because it's like, right? Oh yeah, it's like there was a couple of conversations right at the end. It's like, yeah, this looks really unfamiliar. I've only seen this like once before, and I think it was on the other side or something. Like I haven't even done like both sides and light and dark. That's and all funny. That like I kind of tend to do with that sort of thing.
Altaholics.
I've been very focused on leveling a bunch of stuff on the Starforge. I've still been like dinking around with getting some people leveled up. I did get the Jinx character up to 75, so she's sort of now a craft bot. I'm not planning on taking her through all the stories or anything like that. I did make a Sage on Starforge because I haven't got... It turns out the two characters that I've leveled up on that server were both dark side. I haven't done any light side characters over there. And I also don't have 2 of the 4 class buffs, so I don't have either of the Sith or Jedi class buffs. I have the Bounty Hunter one and the Agent / Smuggler one. And so it's like, we'll get someone on to Light 5. And the original idea, just for, like, it doesn't really matter. It's not like Starforge is going to become my, main server or not. Of course it's not, because that's not where the OotiniCast guilds are. But it was just, I thought it'd be cool to, like, just really focus on trying to get to Light 5 on a level 1 character, within a week. So I started her. So I started a character yesterday. She's based on Talia from League of Legends. She's basically like an earthbender, I guess you would say, if you're using that sort of terminology.
Oh, okay, right.
And so of course she's a telekinetic sage, which makes sense because of all the rock throwing. So, and that's basically like 1 week before Legacy of the Sith was slated to drop. Now, of course, it doesn't matter so much, but I was curious to see like how close I could get to Light 5 in like 1 week, basically. Because right now, yes, it takes a lot of points to get to Light or Dark 5, but because like you get Light and Dark side points with every crew skill that you complete, and and then there's also the other sort of light and dark side stuff that you get as well from light and dark side choices and a few other little things along the way as well. It's like, should be a lot easier right now than it will be in the expansion, because because they're taking that whole sort of system away. Not your light and dark side choices necessarily. That's going to go back to like a really old style version.
Right.
But it's going to be a lot harder because you're not going to get free light and dark side points just for doing crew skills. You're going to have to do it through choices is the main one. But then also if you have diplomacy, you'll be able to get some light and dark side points as well that way. So, and in fact, that kind of brings me to the tip of the week. So let's go ahead and roll over to it.
You're going to have more time now to get that light.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of like takes away the reason for like trying to, let's try to and get this person, leveled up really fast so they can get as many companions out on as many diplomacy missions as possible. Yeah, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, I did a similar thing on my quote unquote main, and after I'd kind of done a bunch of stuff, like I wanted to get social 10 so that, because how that's going to be in 7.0. So that's going to be legacy bound. and I wanted that. I needed
That's
that.
cool. Yeah.
Because of Space Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what am I going to do? I guess I'll roll another character. And my thought was, all right, I'll just dink around on this character for a week. But I guess we're playing the whole storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's how it's going.
So we'll get to the tip of the week, and it'll have something to do with this as well. I was hoping to make a tip of the week, but then I realized, that wasn't going to work. The tip of the week was going to be like, you know how like there's going to be all these new titles from the various sets. So, you know, like there's the Slow Road and like all these other sets that for different classes, but also like so there's some general ones, and basically they're all, if you've gotten all of them, then you'll get a title. Essentially, it's an achievement right now, and it'll also be a title in the expansion.
Oh, cool.
And I was hoping that you could go to the vendor, buy the ones that you don't have, you know, so you get the achievement part, you just sell it back, and then get another one and get all the achievements that way. You can't do that. Unfortunately, even though it's not giving any mods or enhancements or anything in it or anything like that, no. As soon as you buy it, it's non-refundable. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's not a good way to do that. Now, let's say there's a particular thing that you think would make a cool title, you know, like like the Victorious or whatever. You know, the Victor set is pretty easy to get, but but if you haven't gotten it or whatever, let's say there's one you have your eye on. It's like, okay, that's going to be a cool title that I might actually want to have. Then yes, that is a way to do it. If it's available from the vendor, you do get credit for it when you buy it from the vendor, because I actually did get one achievement that way. I bought like the last one. I just happened to need the hands on one of the sets. I bought it, and boom, and now I have the Death Knell set that I didn't happen to have before. Cool. I actually don't have a lot of full set ones, because usually what ends up happening is I just buy what I need, the 6, and the 7th one goes begging because I'm just doing the amplified one instead. So I do the amplified for the 7th, and I end up not getting the achievement, except maybe randomly. So there's a lot of them that I'm kind of like one away from. And if you're like me like that, and you want some of those achievements that are going to go away, that's one way to do it. However, 3,000 tech points and 1 million credits, and it's non-refundable, so it's not a great way to do it, but it is a way to do it. That's not really the tip of the week, though, because once I realized that I couldn't do the little cheaty thing of like selling it back and getting another one and getting all the ones that are least available from the vendor, no, that's not going to work. But so it's like, okay, well, I got to come up with something a little more interesting. So let's talk about getting to Light or Dark Side 5 quickly. Right now, and in an expansion, diplomacy is going to be the way to go. Like back in the day, before they made all the changes, and you had this light and dark points with every crew skill going out, and they had to massively expand the amount of points it took to get to Light and Dark 5. Back in the day, like when it was just Light and Dark Side choices, and then it was diplomacy, and that was all it was. So, and
I remember
that's really still the way to do it really fast. So if what you can do is you take diplomacy, and then when you're doing them, you hover over the little symbol. And as of right now in the game, before the Light and Dark Side little clicker goes away, and some of these light and dark things, like the world goes light and dark, that's going away. Eventually what's going to happen, I'm sure it will revert to the old version, which means your diplomacy is actually going to literally have like some missions that are light side, some that show dark side, light side, dark side. It's going to be basically 50-50. Right now, though, they should all say light or all dark, depending on what you've chosen. However, if you hover over the actual light side symbol or dark side symbol, it will actually give you a breakdown of how many points of each you're getting. Because what's happening in the background is you're getting some light and dark side points just for doing a crew skill, like you get for every other crew skill in the game right now. That's going away eventually. And you're also getting the light and dark side points from diplomacy that was there all along from the beginning of the game. So when you hover over it, it'll either say, let's say you're light side, which is this one character that I'm trying to get to light 5. So all of hers show light symbols, but when you hover over the light symbol on a particular crew skill, it'll say like light 30, dark 0. That's one option. That's the kind you'll want to get. Or if you hover over it, it might say like light 22, dark 8, something like that, where you're getting some light side points and some dark side points. And because your light 5 to dark 5 is actually based on your light minus your dark, you actually have to get all the way to light and all the way to, you know, like all the way, and they actually count against you if you're doing the other version. It actually does make a difference which ones you're getting. So actually hover over them and then only do the ones that have dark 0 or light 0, depending on which way you're going. So, and if you do it that way, it really does go fast. Like she's only, I think she was like level 16 or so, and has already hit light 1, which is super fast right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going really, really fast because I'm not doing any of the ones as well. I've done a few, just kind of by accident, whatever. But I have hardly any dark points from diplomacy, and I've got tons of light side points. It goes really fast this way. So like if you're like, maybe you're one of those people who's like, I'm always dark, you know, I always play dark side, but you know, it's actually kind of handy to be light 5 once on a legacy, just so that you get the achievement. It also unlocks the unity companion ability. Kind of like, you know, how you can do heroic moment when you have a companion out. Well, when you have a companion out and you've been light 5 or dark 5 and you've unlocked this, you can, if you've done dark side, you can do something called sacrifice, which basically almost kills your companion. Usually does end up killing your companion, but it almost kills your companion and gives you a big heal. Or the light side one is called unity, and your companion and you both have, like, I think it's a 50%. It's a very heavy damage reduction for like 12 seconds. It's a very powerful, like, defensive ability for PvE sort of situations, solo PvE situations where you have a companion out. So there are reasons to have it. Yeah, exactly. And I only used Unity personally. The other one is like, you know, the companions usually die. They do usually die if that happens, because it takes them practically to 1 health, and then they just get touched by something and they just croak. That's basically all there is to it.
Right.
So yeah. So if you want to, you know, there is a reason to actually get that. Plus, it's an achievement. Plus, you know, like I say, you get these little bonuses, and more importantly, or potentially importantly, in the expansion, having the light side and dark side 5 is also going to be what will allow you to instantaneously start a character off with an opposite faction force ability. Exactly. So if you want to have like, say, a Jedi Sage, but you really want to be dark from level 1, you really want to have the lightning from level 1, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm a little Padawan who eventually gets the lightning, but you want to be like lightning from level 1, you got to have the dark 5, and vice versa. So there is a reason to have like light 5 and dark 5, and this is the fastest way to get it, for sure. Like, there's really no other way. Like, crew skills are already the way to do it, and then diplomacy is even better, especially if you're hovering over that little symbol, which is not obvious. It's a non-obvious thing. Like, it may look like, oh, rich 5, just do all the riches, you know, and just do all the bountifuls, just get whatever the highest ones. Turns out that's not the fastest way if all you care about is the light side points. Because if you do the rich, you know, to both of the riches, you're getting one that's all light and one that's more light than dark, but it's not much of a gain. Where if you jump down to bountiful, you know, and do the one that's all light there, you'll get a lot more light side points or dark side points.
I wasn't even aware that hovering on it would tell you that.
Yeah,
that's interesting. It's
non-obvious. It's non-obvious.
Once they changed it, you know, having the blatant symbols on there.
Right. This is why we have the tip of the week for these little little hints. It's just a little hint. I mean, we're only talking light and dark side choice points.
I'm learning,
but it's fun. Yeah, because in the expansion, like, if you have a new legacy, like if you want to do, you know, do a character, or if you're just new to the game, you know, some of these, you know, you're just gonna have to wait if you want to have like a lightning throwing Jedi, or, you know, whatever, you know,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I understand why they're doing it. It's very thematic and it's very Star Warsy.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, but you know, if you want to make a character and have them, boom, have the opposite faction one from level 1, that's what you need to have. So this is the way to do it. All right. So that was the tip of the week. And we'll go on to the Mind Trap, which is hilariously out of date now, because we of course, always started a week early before the show. And we got the new news literally one day before the show. So, yeah, This was 6 days before the news came out, basically, or 6.5. The mind trap was, do you feel prepared for the Legacy of the Sith SWTOR expansion in 2 weeks? And the options were yes, no, but I will be, no, and I won't be, or I don't prep, which I thought was a kind of a fair answer. You know, like, I know there are definitely people out there who like, I don't get ready for expansion. I just play the game and whatever. And, you know, when things change, I'll just roll with it or whatever. You know what I mean? So we had 485 votes. Not bad for a sort of a simple question like this. And yes, actually took it. So a lot of people are feeling ready for it. But it was not a huge, it wasn't a major blowout or anything. And also, yes was not as much as the two no's put together. We'll put that together. We'll mention that as well. But yes, quote unquote, won with 34.6% of the vote, just a little over a third. No, but I will be ready is 22.5% of the vote. No, and I won't be is 19.4% of the vote. So roughly, you know, call it a little over 40% of the vote were the no's totaled. So they actually beat the yeses in that sense.
Right.
Then I don't prep was in there, was pretty up there too with 23.5% of the vote. So pretty good, good spread this time. I said no, but I will be. That was my vote. And that's basically how I feel about it. But I will be sort of in my sense. Like in a perfect world, I would be trying a lot harder to get some of these achievements, but I'm just not enough of an achievement hound, so I will be as ready as I need to be, you know, or as I can be personally, because like as much as I think it would be cool to have like, you know, all the set things so you can have all the cool titles and it's just not going to happen, and I know it, and therefore I will be ready in that sense. So that's what I put. Right. How about you, Kitty? What did you put?
Now you can procrastinate even more, you know? I wrote yes. There was only a couple things that I wanted to get done. And although now I think I'm going to add something to that because now I have a lot more time. I think I'm going to,
fair enough,
to finish Kotet in master mode. So,
yeah.
I think I'm going to put that on my to-do list, but everything else I got done.
Are you okay? I've done all of them except the very last one, which I'll probably need your help to do because I cannot solo that. If you want to do that one duo, either as your own achievement or just to help me, I'd appreciate that at some point. Yeah,
you just let me know. I'll help you anytime.
Great.
Some people in chat during the streams have been wanting to do the vet mode, and I've been, you know, helping them out when I can.
And they're pretty much all soloable until you really get to the masters, and then there's a couple I just wasn't able to solo, and you helped me out already. And then I got to the last one, and I don't know why I didn't come and ask for help again, but it's been a while. It's been like a good couple 3 months since I kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, it would be nice to kind of get that done before.
Yeah. Give me a text.
Great. Okay, we should do that then. I appreciate that. Some of the things that people were saying, overall, yes. However, I still have to finish light versus dark bosses before they're gone.
I forgot about that.
That's part of the it's part of the light versus dark system that is going away. Let's see. Swordorisa said, I totally am finally. I finished Onslaught with my main. That's all I was shooting for. Now once 7.0 drops, I'll be in overdrive with a ton of things I want to do. Wow, finished Onslaught with my main, and this is like 2 years in, so she must be, she's definitely doing like a lot of alting as well.
Well, you know, Swordorisa, she's doing something. She's always doing something.
Yep. Chimeri said, I'm not really sure at this point, which is, I guess, a fair answer, too. I didn't have enough room for that one. I just wanted to be here already and sink into it. Well, unfortunately, Chimeri, I'm sure, you know, I think I saw Chimeri on social media, so I guarantee you he knows. Let's see. Kirk Unit wrote, I'm still confused about the gear. I thought I was prepared for 6.0, but wasn't. I'm prepared to accept that I'm not prepared for 7.0.
Good enough.
So you know, there's a few other answers, but it's like, it's just unfortunately with the change, which we should now get on to, you know, this whole question is a little silly now, but hey, it was fun to think about while when it seemed appropriate. So that'll bring us on to the Holo feed. And of course, Keith Koenig, project director, put out the information that Legacy of the Sith has been delayed to 15th of February 2022, basically 2 days and a month from when it was going to be, which was the 14th of December. And he wrote, and I'm just going to read this in total because it's not that long. We've made the difficult decision to delay the release of Legacy of the Sith to February 15th, 2022. Like many of you reading this, I personally cannot wait for the launch of our next expansion. I've greatly enjoyed my time exploring the depths of Manan, testing out new story and ability combinations with combat styles, and more during internal playtests. Legacy of the Sith is something the team has been hard at work at for quite a while, but as we get ever closer to launch, it is clear that we need a bit more time. We're focusing additional testing on the many areas that we have changed, throughout the game to deliver the experience we want and one that you deserve. In addition, during our public test server, your feedback was invaluable in helping to shape this expansion. Outside of story content, to avoid spoilers, the majority of the expansion and its features will be returning to the PTS for all subscribers this week. We're thrilled to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Star Wars The Old Republic with all of you over the next year with Legacy of the Sith and more. Thank you, Keith Koenig, Project Director. So that was basically that. And of course, it raises some questions. A lot of people were asking, like, this is only a week away. Like, that seems really, really tight to be putting the delay out. It's one of those things that I think it'd be fascinating to know sort of the internals of the timings of okay, the meetings where it's like, okay, we think we can get it out, but maybe we can just push it out a week and it'll still be this year, that sort of thing. I'll bet you that sort of conversation was happening. Not that I'm privy to it, but you got to imagine that it's like, okay, can we just push it out a week? Can we just push it out 2 weeks? Can we still have it in, 2021 calendar year? Right. And it's like, well, if we're going to delay it, why delay it only a little bit and then maybe still have bugs? Why not just, push out a little bit longer? It'll be it's a little more disappointing, but the pain of the change will be gone, and it gives us plenty of time to actually work on it. I think that's the sort of thing that they said, but who knows? Like I said, it'd be fascinating to know that sort of thing. Obviously they're not going to let us know. Yeah. It's the sort of thing that you can't let know because it's going to create a kerfuffle with no gain, zero gain.
I'll tell you that once Keith posted this, there was a lot of weight off shoulders to get this out before going, on Christmas break. They're like, right, okay, it's out. We have some more time.
It's true.
And every gamer that I talked to was like, well, if you need more time, just say you need more time. Right. Launching it and having it run like crap isn't the way to do it. Put it out when it's ready. Right, exactly. And like you and I were saying right before the show started, it's like there wasn't a lot of other news, which in retrospect sounds odd because we are literally only only a week ahead of what was supposed to be an expansion date, and that does seem like a really strange time for the amount of information coming out to actually go down by so much. So I'm glad that at least this information came out for the show so we can actually talk about this. And so typically I don't know, and I'm not saying that this is the reason to delay it more, but historically they work their asses off so much every year, and then they are sort of given some time around the late December, around the holidays, to actually have extra time off and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that that's the reason for the delay. I'm sure that if it had worked a little better and they needed to work around the Christmas or whatever to actually get it out, but then it would have been out. I'm sure that would have been considered, but but it's they work their asses off, so they do get a few days off. I'm not making it. I'm not putting them down for it. Quite the opposite. So they're going to get a couple of months actually to put this out. Of course, this also raises almost as many questions as it answers. And fortunately, we do have some information from Jacky Co, kind of fleshing some of this out. And they are considering this they're treating it as a living document. So if they come up with extra answers or
change something, they're going to be updating this sort of thing. So if you do read this on the SWTOR forums and it sounds different from what I'm saying, that could be the reason. Why make this change so close to the original launch date? As a team, we take our date commitments very seriously, and everyone who works on SWTOR has been working extremely hard to deliver as we'd originally planned. This being our anniversary, we really wanted to share the awesome updates in Legacy of the Sith with all of you to celebrate, so we kept moving forward towards that goal as long as possible. But in the end, the most important thing is quality and not the calendar. So there you go. That sounds about right. I mean, these guys work really hard, and I imagine, like, there's been a lot of improvements, since the test server went down a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure that in some senses you could almost push it out. It's just that it wouldn't really be ready. Yeah. Why delay for 2 months? There isn't any significant bug or single issue that brought this decision about. Ultimately, we want to give the team more time to add polish, to find and fix bugs, to ensure we release 7.0 at maximum quality. We also want to do more to include all of you in that process. We're very excited to have this chance to share more on the PTS so that we can get your feedback and show some of the changes that have already been implemented based on your past feedback. As mentioned, the team has been working really hard to create Legacy of the Sith, and they deserve a chance to rest and recharge. So that's part, this is going to be the holiday time off, which is, like I said, I am 100% fine with. Our chosen time frame will allow the team to take a meaningful holiday break and still have significant polish time before release. Yeah, and it's true. Like, there's certain things, like the one button switch, so that you can switch your buttons and your class and your armor and stuff. All of that, that's not in the game yet, or at least it wasn't in the test server. So there's lots of things that are supposed to be in the expansion that just haven't even been on the test server, period, and then aren't story related, because we know the story's not going to be there. They always hide the story, which is, I think, smart.
I think it's great.
Yeah, and in fact, I much prefer it, because I don't want to know it, and I don't want even accidentally to find out.
I mean, I know I'm not going to spoil anything, but there were some moments in this past expansion that I was like, what?
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. So how does this affect Conquest? Total Galactic War will be included in the rotation. Will run December 21st of this year, January 4th of next year, January 18th of next year. And note that the biggest relevant change is that Personal Conquest requiring 100,000 points instead of 50,000. And keep in mind that for the Conquest starting February 8th. So in other words, technically the expansion hasn't dropped yet, but the personal change of 50 to 100 is actually going to start a week early on February 8th. So yeah, what's happening with Ranked PvP Season 14? As Season 14 rewards are tied to 7.0, the current season will continue as is, ending with the release of 7.0 on February 15th. So in other words, it's just being pushed out as well. Rewards will be distributed normally when 7.0 launches in February. Are the R4 Anomaly Operation and the Daily Area for Manon still launching after Legacy of the Sith? Yes. We will want to give players time to gear accordingly, so these will be launching post-Legacy of the Sith as originally intended. These are intended to be available for testing in a 7.1 PTS cycle. Exact date TBD. No, so that's a 7.1 PTS cycle, so that's going to be after 7.0 launches, presumably. So which always made sense, and that was the reason they gave originally, and I didn't think it was just a cop-out, just to give them a little more time. I'm sure it did give them a little more time, and it still does, but that wasn't the reason, and it still isn't the reason, and because it makes sense that they want people to be able to get some time to actually enjoy the story, gear up in a semi-normal way, not to feel like you have to play like 24 hours a day just so you can jump into an operation ASAP and stuff like that. So I'm
really looking forward to that. Having them update the gear instead of waiting for an X-Pack to do it. I think it's going to be fun, because I love chasing gear. It's one of my favorite things in the game. It's great.
Yeah, well, it's definitely changing this time. Holy cow, it is way different. Lone Wolf is saying, Conquest needs to be a bit harder. Throws up barrier to block rotten vegetables tossed his way. Well, fortunately, Conquest is going to be a little harder if that's what you want, Lone Wolf, because, I mean...
Twice as hard.
Not only is it twice as hard just in terms of raw points, but also a lot of the little cheapy things that you can do to get a few points here and there are going to go away. So, you know, a lot of the little mini things that I do to get some, like my banking ult is probably never going to get to finish Conquest again.
Right.
So, you know, because she doing the little things like giving gifts and
stuff strongholds,
stronghold stuff, that all seems to be going away.
Yeah.
They could always bring it back, maybe, who knows. And it's possible I'll find some other cheapy things that will work. I think
we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
We're gamers. We're going to figure it out.
That's right. What is happening with events and their rewards, and is there any chance for double XP or something extra? All of the planned new rewards will not be released as they are tied to 7.0. With that in mind, here's a plan for each event. Life Day will run from December 14th of this year to January 11th of 2022 with current rewards. The 10-year anniversary event will be running for a full year from December 14th to 2021 to January of 2023. All existing anniversary rewards will be available on the vendor. The new planned rewards will be added to the vendor in February 7 with 7.0, including the contest winning decorations. And yes, there's been it's very visual, so I didn't include it in the show notes, but they did announce the winners, and there's some lovely screenshots of all the different places where they included. There's Meksha and Hutta. I can't remember all the places they decided to make the screenshot thing for, but they did some really good. They made some really good choices. And will inform players when new rewards will be added. Additional events. Our double XP event, which also includes Renown, Requisition, and Valor, will return from December 20th, 2021 and run until January 4th of 2022. So that's 2 weeks, basically. All 3 weeks of the Feast of Prosperity will return at the following cadence. Week 1, yeah, it's interesting. So Feast of Prosperity, which is kind of a once-a-year thing, is going to come back, even though it's only been a few months. Week 1 will be January 11th through the 18th of 2022. Week 2 will be the next one, 18th through the 25th, and week 3, the 25th through February 1st. So Feast of Prosperity basically returning from January 11th through February 1st, with week 1, week 2, week 3 being the little breakdowns in there. That's nice.
Interesting. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I wouldn't be at all upset if the nightlife event popped up for a little bit. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very unexpected, though, because that's an annual event. I've never seen them, add it kind of just willy-nilly like this. Interesting.
Yeah. What's happening with the test server? We're opening the PTS back up this week. 7.0 features will be present to test during this PTS cycle, with the exception of any that would spoil story content. This upcoming phase will include loadouts. That's right. That was the term I couldn't remember earlier. Sorry about that. The loadouts is where you basically hit a button and it's going to change everything for you. Yeah. And character creation, which is good. We've seen bits of character creation changes, but apparently there's a lot more to come, or maybe it's a more polished version or something. I don't know.
I think it's probably more polished. I went and tried it out. It was cool, but you could tell it.
Like it wasn't really there.
Be more.
Yeah. And also all recent updates we've made since the close of the previous phase. So that'll be interesting to see what else that includes. What's the PTS schedule? We'll be updating our public test server forum with updates as they happen. PTS will remain open until approximately mid-January as needed. So yeah, that'll be interesting. If it's like the other test servers, that doesn't necessarily mean it's just one change and then, it's going to be the same thing tested for a month. It's probably going to be changed multiple times during that period of time.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting, though. I mean, giving us some more shots at public test server. I actually was thinking about deleting it off of my computer, but now I'm going to keep it.
Right.
Just to kind of, if anything, just give my 2 cents on what I, help them out.
Right.
I guess.
And then there's Galactic Seasons, which we had Galactic Season 1 finish up a few weeks ago. What does this mean for Galactic Seasons 2? And she writes, as Galactic Season 2 is tied to 7.0, it will not be available until Legacy of the Sith launches. However, it will be available on the PTS in the coming weeks. So if you're curious about what it looks like, what some of the rewards so far are looking like, at least we'll have some idea of like what sort of rewards will be available and stuff like that, as well as any other changes. And remember, there was going to be some changes as to like how you gain points, and yeah, there's gonna be a lot of changes actually from what I remember. There's like, it wasn't because yeah, the last one, like there's some ways to cheese it and a little bit, and like it was a lot of it, you got a lot of points for logging in basically. That's not really going to be the case anymore, stuff like that. So overall, I'd say obviously, no one's thrilled that, it's being delayed. I understand. And I just want it to be a good product when it drops. And,
yeah, exactly.
For me, the only bummer thing is like, I kind of had it, like I'm trying to do this one character to get to level 5 in 1 week, like a sort of a mini challenge. Now it kind of doesn't feel like it matters, or it really doesn't matter. Right. And also I've got to figure out, okay, what am I going to do for the next couple months? Am I going to level new characters? Am I going to like finish up old characters, or I'm not sure what I'm going to do actually. So I will have to figure that out. Yeah. How about you, Kitty? Is it changing your plans basically, or?
Well, with Kitty Treats and myself playing different characters on the weekends when we co-stream, it's giving a lot more longevity to my solo play stuff. So I think I'm just gonna keep moving forward,
That sounds good.
And having fun. But it's a letdown, but again, like I said, it's like, it is what it is, and I don't want to play a broken game, so more power to them.
Yeah.
Plus they get to take a break. I mean, come on. Go spend some time with your family.
Right. Now there is a little bit of other news. Obviously that was the main thing, was the change to the launch date. But we do have a few other things that have come up since the 10th anniversary show, the last episode, which was a little over 2 weeks ago. One thing that happened shortly after we had the last episode was they let us know about the ranked PvP Season 14 rewards. A lot of this is going to sound really familiar, and I'm not going to go into all the rating points and so on. There is either you can go to SWTOR, or it's also in our show notes for this episode 428. But basically it's like, like if you get gold tier, you're going to get a flare, a battle flag, a decoration, a title with the supreme, a title with the elite, a title with the distinguished, because you're getting like the lower tier stuff as well as the stuff for gold, and then 150,000 ranked tokens, and platinum, you get all that, and you also get the platinum, which is the top 3 of each advanced class on the leaderboard. Then you get a platinum Season 14 flare, a platinum Season 14 title, some pretty cool stuff, and a bunch of ranked tokens. And then those
flares are hot. They look really good.
They look nice, and you don't see them a lot because there's like there's not as many people competing for them. And then the platinum ones, of course, are really rare. The new rewards, as in terms of like the weapons, yeah, Unrivaled Guardsman weapon set. It's really nice looking. Very, very beautiful weapons. They're sort of like silver / gunmetal gray mostly, but with gold tones and gold highlights, especially for the guns. The barrels tend to be gold, while the rest of it is sort of a gunmetal gray / silver. It's not gunmetal gray in like the dull sense, but it's sort of like, but it's not like bright silver either. It's sort of in between those. But it also they also have all these little red highlights. There's certain little red dials, but also they have red striping on them. And they're really, really attractive. Very nice looking.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do like those red stripes on the rifles a lot.
I think so. Yeah, it's not as noticeable on the lightsabers, although the lightsabers look nice in their own way. For the lightsabers, the part where you actually grip it with the hands tends to be more the silver / gunmetal gray, with like sort of the part between your hand and the lightsaber blade being the gold part. And then there are also red highlights on them as well. Yeah, they all really look nice. Yeah, the style of the guns tends to be sort of like modern, like 20th century / 21st century warfare style too. So it's kind of, it has a very modern / familiar sort of feel. It's not really wild looking. It actually, the pistols look like pistols, and the rifles look like rifles, and so on. Yeah, it's really nice.
They're very a simple design, but they still look really cool. Which that's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I for me, simple is better most of the time. And let's see. Man, stay tuned for more details concerning next season. Well, we already know next season's coming out,
couple months from now.
Right, it's after 7.0 drops, so we know it's got to be after the 15th. But also, usually there's like a downtime, and since they said they were pushing it out right till the current season right out till 7.0 drop, there's usually a little downtime and there will be in the beginning of the next season. Kind of like the operation, you want to give people a chance to do the story, gear up. You can't just throw ranked out there when it drops and like not even everyone's at max level yet, let alone the gearing. So yeah. All right. With the conquest, there's a couple questions about like conquest and so on. In terms of the conquest point requirement going from 50 to 100k, will those of us in guilds need to earn 100,000 points to get the weekly guild level reward for the first week of 7.0 conquest? And in other words, like, is the guild requirements going up along with the personal requirements? So Jacky says, "Hey, Derev, good question. In short, yes, you will need to obtain 100,000 during the week leading up to 7.0 to be eligible for your guild rewards. That's the personal, like point cutoff, so that you can actually get the boxes and the extras, the tech points and stuff like that. As the points will be set to 100,000 when the expansion launches, that value is defined as current. So guilds will need 100,000 leading up to that Tuesday." And then for additional clarification, guild conquest is not changing, so it will not take guilds more points to hit a small, medium, or high yield planet. Those thresholds will remain the same. So at least on a guild level, you don't need any more points. It's only in order to personally get those extra boxes and so on, the tech points and everything else.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, let's see, the current leveling gear. Okay, we'll just actually ask the question. It'll make it easier to understand. I've heard rumors that the current leveling gear, apprentice, accurate, cunning, requisition, tarnished, aftermarket, carbon scored, decorated, battle scarred, toxic, thermal, unleashed, visionary, Corellian, crystalline, fractured, and Yavin, will be scrapped or made unattainable with 7.0. Does anyone know if there's truth to this? Some of these sets have rather unique skins or colors that are nigh or completely unattainable otherwise. Jacky writes, "Hey, Craig Mitchell, I'm confirming what you've listed will not be available. So yes, it is going away. However, most, if not all of their appearances are going to be reused for new gear coming in 7.0. If there happens to be some that are not available, we would like to bring those back in the future. With the creation of combat styles, changes needed to be made to the gear rewarded during your class story to ensure players would always receive a usable item that matched the proper appearance. To solve this, we've created a new set of leveling gear that uses an appearance based on your origin story. So if you're a smuggler playing with a sniper combat style, you will receive gear that fits smuggler visuals. Which makes sense. I mean, trooper / bounty hunter, that's both pretty heavy armor, and maybe you can get away with, pretty similar looks. But smugglers are smugglers, and agents are agents, and those are very different aesthetics. So
very different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can play a smuggler who dresses more like an agent, or you can play an agent who's going undercover as a down and dirty smuggler type. But those are, but even then, it's an acknowledgement that those are different. Those are different looks. So that's how they're going to do that. They're going to basically make it so that the leveling gear that you gain while you're leveling is going to be kind of based on your class or your origins class story, the origin story as it's going to be called, rather than your combat style. As a note, as a future goal, we would like to achieve is to add cosmetic versions of all origin story visuals to planetary vendors as bind to legacy items, so players can have more freedom to customize themselves or the companions, which is nice. So Yeah, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that, gets used, but then because it's not, it's not modifiable, and you kind of let it go, and maybe you make an outfit out of it, but if you don't, it just kind of goes away. You never see it again.
Right. Yeah. That's I like the idea that they're not trashing it. They're just going to kind of put it out a little bit later.
Right.
Make it available, because that worries me, especially if it's like some dumb belt that I really quote need. I'm like, I need it to finish this outfit.
Let's see. Yeah. So there's certain, let's see. There's a little bit, the bug, unfortunately, like, is still present as far as Jacky knows, about how in certain cutscenes, certain companions, like, even if you have them in a different outfit, they just default to their original clothing. That unfortunately is still something they're working on. And then there's a whole bit about, please don't assume my combat style. So, so for transparency and context, those who are reading the dev tracker only, the choosing your combat style for existing characters text being referenced in this thread is from the Separating Story and Gameplay article that was published a while ago. There's been an update to this. We originally planned to allow players to switch their primary combat style with existing characters upon loading up 7.0. Unfortunately, we discovered some technical hurdles that will prevent us from supporting that. So upon login, existing characters will maintain their existing advanced class, which will be converted into their first combat style. And then eligible characters will still be free to choose their second combat style. The original article has been updated to reflect this. And then Force users will be able to change their first combat style to its mirror if they meet the light or dark side alignment requirements to do so. That is not changed.
Cool.
So in other words, they're basically confirming, like, if you've had a dark side Jedi, but you're like playing it undercover, or you just like the aesthetics, you don't want the lightning, it's not going to force you to have a lightning upon logging in on 7.0. Nothing like that's going to happen. Let's see. And there's even more conversation on this. Chris Schmidt then jumped in. There are two different topics here. The ability for existing players to change the combat style upon logging in, and then the rules around characters with Force origin stories when they are offered an option to swap combat styles with their opposite aligned mirror. As Jacky posted, we are fully intended for current characters to be able to choose a preferred combat style upon logging in for game update 7.0. We worked for some time to try to make this happen, but recently ran into some technical hurdles that unfortunately prevents us from supporting this. As a result, when you log into the game after 7.0, your primary combat style will be your current advanced class. Choosing your advanced class was designed to be a permanent choice, and we will continue with this combat style. We have no plans to introduce a method to change one of your combat styles. As we previously stated, the ability to have a second combat style and the additional loadouts that come with it are features for active subscribers. Related to this topic, we did see a question being asked, what happens to my second combat style if my subscription lapses? In short, your second combat style will become unusable, including its loadouts. Which kind of makes sense. It's kind of like everything else. It's like if you drop your subscription, a lot of things go away, and this is just going to be one of them. So the funny thing is, like, if you never become a subscriber, you just play free to play, or maybe you spend some money, get some cartel coins, and become preferred. You might not miss them, but then, like, once you're subscribed and then they kind of go away, that would kind of suck.
It's like when they forget to put the ability to run and mount at the same time. You don't realize how much of a quality of life that is until you don't have it.
Right. While you're mounting up, and then you're interrupted all the time because you're not used to it.
Get on, go.
Right. Note the quotations around the word second. If your subscription lapses, your usable combat style will be the one you last logged out on when the cancellation hits your account. This means that if you log out on your primary combat style, you'll continue to be able to play with that one and its loadouts. If you log out on your secondary combat style, you'll continue to be able to play with that one and its loadouts. That's interesting. So I guess if you know your subscription is going to lapse, you definitely should make sure that all the characters you care about are on the combat style that you want them to be on.
That's a great idea too for people that forget and they're like, "Oh no, well I'll sub another month just to get this all straightened out." You know,
maybe so. Let's see. So essentially, whatever combat style is active when your sub lapses is the one you'll continue to use when you log back in. And all right, Force origin story considerations. Force origin stories have some special considerations since there are some restrictions and combat style choices that tech origin stories do not share. To a brand new player or a player who has not unlocked their Dark 5/Light 5 achievements, which we talked about in Tip of the Week, in their Legacy of Sacrifice, Legacy of Unity, they are not presented with the option to choose an opposite aligned combat style at character creation, nor when they unlock their second combat style, with one exception. If a player without these unlocks has been playing their character with opposite aligned morality, such as a Jedi origin story as a dark side character or a Sith origin story as a light side character, they will receive the option to swap their current combat style to the opposite alignment equivalent upon completing their Act 3 story. Now Act 3 is essentially the end of the original class story. This is pretty far in, like this is hours and hours of playtime in, like you've accomplished
the main storyline.
This is your main particular class storyline, and then you're going to the sort of the shared storylines, McKeb and Shadow of Revan and everything else. So so this is pretty far in, really.
I thought that you'd be able to do it right off the bat.
You will if you have light or dark side unlocked, dark 5 or light 5 unlocked. Okay. This is why it's actually important to have this in your legacy if you want to have this option. So if you like light side characters, and then it's like, well, it's time to play a Sith, but I'd really rather have like the light side abilities just because I think that'd be cool, or whatever, or because I'm playing light side anyway and it just feels more appropriate. Right. Then it helps because if you have that light side 5 unlocked, because you'll be able to do it immediately instead of having to wait until Act 3.
I think it works fine. Especially finishing that storyline would solidify your character's intentions.
You can certainly do it that way, and that's certainly the way that they're sort of like creating it for new players. Like if you're a new player, you just won't have light side 5 unlocked or dark side 5 unlocked, and you'll just have to play through the class story. But in some ways, that's kind of a cool way to do it. And I've actually played characters that way, where it's like, I'm going to start out, like the Sith will be dark, and then like at some point during the story, they're going to like have this big revelation and they'll turn light, and vice versa. Yeah. I've played, this character's light, and then at some point they're going to fall to the dark side.
You give them a little arc. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly, an arc. And that's fun. And that's how this is going to work too for new characters. Right, so Force Origin Story players who have already unlocked Light 5, Dark 5 achievements will not see any restrictions. Any combat styles are available to them at both character creation and when choosing their second combat style. So you can do it right away, or you could do it as a secondary combat style if you've already got Light Side 5, Dark Side 5. There's been no change in the design of Force Origin Story considerations, which was first shared in this post. There's a little link if you can listen to me talking about all these restrictions and expand on why the philosophy behind these decisions in the linked podcast in the post. However, to build upon Jacky's clarification post here, we want to give Force Origin Story players some choice when the 7.0 update releases. So all pre-7.0 Force characters that have opposite alignment to their current class will be given the option to swap their primary combat style to the opposite aligned equivalent upon logging in post 7.0. This means if you're a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Consular and have at least one dark side point away from 0, you'll be given this choice. Likewise, if you're a Sith warrior or a Sith Inquisitor and you have at least one light side point away from 0, you'll be given this choice. This will be regardless of any legacy unlocks or otherwise. So this is kind of different from the Light 5, Dark 5 thing. Mm-hmm. Once the character is in the game and the swap choice has been made or refused, the rules as described above will still apply. So in other words, you'll get kind of like one chance. If you've been playing your character dark, but you're not at Dark 5, you get this one chance. Basically, to sort of like ignore this rule and one time only make the switch, and even then it has to be directly to the opposite one. So right. Not just any Force one, but directly the opposite. So
it's all or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Sage to Sorcerer or whatever.
So basically, everybody that wants to be able to be a light side or a Jedi that can throw lightning, mm-hmm. get that Dark Side 5 before 7.0 comes, and now we have 2 more months to get it.
Right. If you want to make like a brand new character that way.
Right.
But apparently, if you've been playing your character dark, then you'll have one chance to make the swap right when you start playing that character in 7.0 if you're a sub. So, yeah. All right. So, there you go. Also, one other bit of news that I thought was cool is Chimeri is now officially a part of the SWTOR Content Creator Program. Congratulations, Chimeri. Woo!
Congratulations, Chimeri.
And he had a special stream about it, and he's been tweeting it out and stuff. This has been great. And so congratulations, and we're very happy. Chimeri's been a great part of the community, and everyone likes him pretty much. He's awesome. And I guess in general Star Wars news, we're going to have the Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett coming out pretty soon here. I'm looking forward to it. That was in fact what the quote was at the beginning of the show, that if you didn't recognize what the hell it was from the trailer basically for it. I'm sort of pre-quoting that one. It looks like a lot of fun. Interesting characters. We already know Ming-Na Fen's character from Mandalorian as well, so she's going to be cool too. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's an interesting situation, you have this sort of like crazy period where like one criminal has sort of like dominated this area. He's dead. What happens then? We've, in the Legacy, pre-Disney buyout, there have been stories sort of told around the same area because it's a very interesting sort of thing to talk about. This is also basically like if you've ever seen the Godfather movies or read the book,
right.
When the Godfather gets shot, even though he doesn't, die right away or anything, he's still alive, but he's not able to actually maintain control of his family. Everything gets thrown up into chaos because he was like the most powerful one, and everything kind of goes crazy mode, and things start happening. Well, this is sort of the same thing. Jabba was like the big bad for Tatooine, and now that he's gone, everything's up for grabs. So that's
power vacuum.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait. Some of the shots on there are just gorgeous. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looks like there's going to be lots of aliens, which I kind of dig, and Twi'leks. Woof.
A lot of Twi'leks. Yeah, including like sort of like regular skin tone Twi'leks, or a little orangey, but like not like bright blue or bright red or bright green. So that was interesting too. All right, let's see. Let's go to the Force feedback. Your tweets and emails. Darklight Wolf wrote in, and he wrote, "Hello there, it's DL Smooth Wolf again." Love that. It's been a little while since I last posted, but I'm sure you all heard about Legacy of the Sith delay until February 15th, 2022. I'm grateful that the dev team is doing what they can to fix most of the issues. But my main questions are for Chill and Kitty. If you two ever decide to retire from podcasting, which I hope you don't, what future ideas would you consider? And I want to say thanks again for being one of the most awesomest and bestest podcasts in the galaxy, along with Working Class Nerds and the Starforge podcast. So, Kitty, if you weren't going to podcast, what would you consider doing?
I don't know. I think.
So I assume like streaming / podcasting is like a pretty big outlet for you right now.
Yeah, I think I would. I've always wanted to do sketches, like figure out little sketches, do them in front of a green screen, just silly, short little things. But I don't know. I think maybe do a different podcast. I have no idea. But yeah, you kind of caught me off guard on that one. Well, with this one, I used to do a podcast a long time ago, and I was a host. I was the editor. I was everything.
Right.
And it's like having a second job because we did it every week, and there was a lot. We weren't very good at the start, so there was a lot of editing, and I was like, I can't do that anymore. So when you asked me to be on here, and all I have to do is show up, I'm like, all right.
At the time of the show,
it.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm in, baby. I'll take some notes, blah, 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 give advice, blah, blah, and all that stuff. So this was perfect. But I think if I did another podcast, it would, I don't know. I really like streaming.
Right.
That's where my heart is. So I think I'd just keep streaming, but maybe do some fun little sketches now and again.
Right.
But what about you?
Well, for me, I would probably... I've already got cryptobiography where I do fiction writing, and I'm really enjoying that. In fact, I've started out on this potentially very huge project, and it's like the story's just starting. It's very intimidating right now. And it would certainly give me more time to kind of focus on that. Not that I don't have enough time anyway, but I feel like it's sometimes I have to like push it really hard to get it as far as I need to, and it would definitely free me up for that. So that's probably what I do, is try to do more creative writing, and maybe more creative writing beyond that as well. Because like right now, if I'm doing creative writing, it has to be for cryptobiography, because it's like I need something to put out every week. That's my goal every week, and I'm able to meet that only by devoting my writing time to that. And so it might be interesting to have another project going on in the background, or something that I could do that would not be of that, but I could, work on something else as well. That would be a lot of fun too. I've also got sort of like, this is a very like changey, timey, weird part of my life. I'm now married, and all of our sons are basically like young adults who are just sort of like starting to spread their wings, and my son's in college. One of them's still living with her, but he's got his own job. The other one's living with his dad and has his own job as well. And it's like, they're all sort of becoming adults, and it's like I know things are going to be like changing very soon for me regardless. So I'm probably going to need a lot of time for that as well, regardless of whether I'm podcasting or not. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, but it's all good though. It's all for the good. And so I would say though it would be fun to actually be able to think about other writing projects, or just doing something creative, whether it was writing or not. Maybe it could be doing something like a D&D, because I haven't really played D&D seriously for years, and yet I still like it. So I mean, I got it in 1980, and I literally started playing pretty much right away, and have been in my heart a D&D, or even if I wasn't regularly playing it, in my heart a tabletop gamer since then. So yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to do that too.
I think that might, because I used to do it, and I have it all recorded, because I recorded it all on OBS and have hundreds of hours of stuff, but I just didn't have the capability of posting it anywhere. Right. So that would be a fun thing to do, but gotta D&D.
It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Totally fun.
And as kids, I played other, I played other variations too.
What was the space one?
Well, there's a bunch of them, but
Traveler. I did
Traveler. Yeah. There's Star Frontiers as well.
Star Frontiers, that's the one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
And then there's like
Top Secret.
Boot Hill. Top
Boot
Secret
Hill.
was fun.
I remember Boot Hill.
Yeah. Did you ever play Paranoia?
No, I didn't.
That one was a fun one. That's like it's an actual dystopian. It's a dystopian role-playing game where it's set in this one sort of mostly underground world, and everyone's clones. Everyone's cloned basically. And it's all controlled by this sort of mostly insane computer. And it's hilarious, and it's dark as hell.
That's awesome.
It's crazy, but it's fun. So I don't know how many people out there even remember Paranoia or anymore, but it was a fun game. It's still really fun. Cool. Anyway, so thanks, Darklight Wolf. That was fun to chew over. Do you have anything else, Kitty?
I don't. I'm good.
Cool. Well, we are hoping to have Marcus in the next show, so we'll be, confirming that here in the next few days, and looking forward to that. And anything else? I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. That's it. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Ootini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Ootini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Ootini to join the Ootini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. Thank you to the chat room, and we'll see you next show.
Thanks, chat. We'll see you next time.
All right. Well, let's see. Meltza seems... we'll get ready to raid someone. Meltza has someone here. Let's see. But let me see also... where is it? I've got to get over there. Hang on a sec. It always takes me a minute. Sorry. Okay,
we got socks last time.
Yeah, well, I was hoping Chimera would be live, but I don't think he is. Sorry. Wow, that screwed up my voice too. Holy cow.
Jeez, Louise, you all right?
Yeah.
Here's I put a link in Discord for a good SWTOR streamer.
Okay, let me find it. Okay. I see him. Yep, we can go to him. All right, so we're going to go to when Kitty suggests Stay Alive 7. And thank you for coming. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks, but not post-expansion, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll have to figure out what we're doing from there. We'll talk about that with Marcus next time. Here we go.
Bye, everybody.
All right, and I'm going to... It is hosting now, so I'm going to stop the stream.